Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. It is Mad Mike. Uh, it has been a long night of wrestling for me, Wrestling Mayhem Show friends. And, I'm not going to be available tomorrow night when the guys do the Mid-Week War. So I thought I would come on here for just a few minutes and give you guys my thoughts on 5 straight hours of professional wrestling. And as you can see, I'm not tired because holy hell did we have a good night of television. All right, I'm going to start in reverse order from my least favorite show to my favorite show of the week. And as you'd probably expect, I'm going to start with Impact. And this is not a knock on Impact. I like Impact. I really do. But, it was Destination X. It was... They missed some opportunities, in my opinion, with Destination X this year. We had 2 championship matches. You had Kurt Angle versus Rockstar Spud, Kurt Angle versus Austin Aries. Both tremendously wrestled matches. I'm not going to downplay the quality of the wrestling. As you know, the quality of wrestling on Impact is always fair to very good. The Austin Aries Kurt Angle match in itself was a great match. However, because it's Kurt Angle and because it's TNA and they never take chances of anything, I never felt that Angle was in jeopardy. And it's no one's fault, really, except the booking. They could have done something risky. They could have done something unexpected. And they could have given Rockstar Spud the title. They could have had Rockstar Spud go on to be Austin Aries. Because then, while EC3 and Kurt Angle will be a great match at Slammiversary, EC3 and Rockstar Spud have a much better feud, a much better rivalry going, especially if Rockstar Spud were to get to the title before EC3. But enough about that. The X Division title, they had 3 qualifying matches. I don't agree with who won the qualifying matches. I feel DJZ was overlooked. I feel Managers was overlooked. I understand you want some representative from the BDC in there, so I guess you have to have Low Key. And then there's Grado. I know I might get some heat for this. Not big on Grado. Not yet, anyway. He's starting to win me over, but it's going to take a little bit. When he had his segments trying to work out, I could see what he was doing. Like, ordinarily I'd laugh at that, but I don't know, it just wasn't working. However, when he stripped down and weighed himself, that was actually pretty good, and his match could have been a little bit better, but it was nice to see a fresh face in the X Division title hunt. Apart from that, we had Bram versus Crimson, which, I watched it. It didn't really do anything for me, but it was definitely a match that happened. We also had an interesting segment with the knockouts. I understand what they're trying to do. Taryn Terrell's a heel. She's supposed to be generating heel heat. I get it. And to their credit, Taryn and the Dollhouse are doing very well with what they're given. However, what they're given is not very good. It almost seemed like the segment was broken up into 2 pieces because after Kong took out the rest of the Dollhouse, Awesome Kong seemed to vanish from the screen entirely. I don't know where she went. They never showed us her carrying the Dollhouse to the back, and then Brooke came out for some reason. I don't know. I think they need a little bit of direction for the knockouts. Overall, I would say the MVP of the show is EC3. His promo work was awesome. I will also give credit to Kurt Angle because he had 2 really good matches, and they were a lot of fun to watch. It's just I never thought he was going to lose. And it's because they never have Kurt Angle lose. I know people rag on Cena, people rag on Randy Orton, but those guys do lose occasionally. Kurt Angle, I think he's lost one match since he's returned. And that was a while ago. So yeah, Impact was my least favorite show this week. Moving along, we're going to move to ROH, Ring of Honor on Destination America. So I'm kind of working reverse Destination America order. Really good show this week. I liked it. I liked it a whole bunch. Honestly, if NXT and Lucha weren't shitballs amazing, ROH might have cracked number 2 for me. First off, you open with Kaz and Daniels. If you know me, you know that's the easiest way to get me to enjoy a show. One thing I will say about Ring of Honor is that we had 4 matches, which is fine for an hour show. That's a good length. There was one decisive winner. The other ones were all DQs and bullshit finishes. Now I understand they're building to a pay-per-view, and that's going to happen. But it kind of happened last week, too, where there weren't a lot of clean finishes. You're going on a new network. You kind of have to have some definitive wins and losses. The match that did have a decisive winner was my favorite match, maybe of the night, actually, now that I think about it. Liger versus friend of the show, Dalton Castle. Wow. It had everything. It had some good high spots, had some good chain wrestling, had some good comedy spots. Liger posing with Dalton Castle's boys is my new spirit animal. I personally had never seen Dalton Castle wrestle before. I was very excited, and he did not disappoint. He was fantastic. If I could fantasy book something, it would be Dalton Castle versus Tyler Breeze in a strut off or a pose off or some sort of Zoolander-esque showdown. Also, I didn't know this about ROH. There is a wrestler called Cheeseburger. Yeah, there's a wrestler called Cheeseburger, and he's amazing. He's absolutely amazing. It was a shame what happened to him this week, but it was very, very good. I could see the appeal of him immediately. And Liger giving him respect before the match was even better because, it's Liger. He's awesome. Also, the main event, the Kingdom versus the Bullet Club, of course. Machine Gun Anderson and Knox, or Gallows, sorry, in TNA mode. But awesome match. I've seen them on Wrestle Kingdom, I believe. Either Wrestle Kingdom or the ROH pay-per-view I saw. I know it was one or the other. And I enjoyed their match there. I enjoyed their match tonight. Again, I just kind of wish there was a decisive winner. I know they're building toward the pay-per-view, but you can have someone get over. I mean, it's just something you have to, I'd say you have to have at least half your matches have a decisive victory on a show. The MVP for Ring of Honor, I think I'm going to give it to Dalton Castle. He was fucking awesome. He was very engaging with the crowd. His entrance is, again, if not for Lucha Underground, it would have been the best entrance of the night. It was just a lot of fun to watch. If you haven't seen Dalton Castle before, find Ring of Honor, find this match. His match with Liger was awesome. The commentary on Ring of Honor still is a bit titchy for me, but I'm getting used to Kevin Kelly and Carino, so hopefully they'll grow on me. We'll see. Oh, and I forgot to mention, Pope on commentary in TNA was improved this week. He cut back way less on his daddies, and he was much better to listen to. Josh still has, his Joshisms, but it was a lot better to listen this time around. Now, the number 2 show was very difficult to pick this week, but I think I'm going to go NXT. NXT number 2, just this much away, because I swear to God, NXT, they were trying to win me over so bad. You had a big guy eating Doritos. You had the Hype Bros. You had a awesome Dana Brooke promo, an awesome Finn Balor promo. You had uh, Becky Lynch having a really great match. You had debut of Samoa Joe. You had Kevin Owens on commentary. I mean, that all of those things are amazing. They were all fantastic. It's very difficult to pick a sore spot in NXT, except for maybe the Baron Corbin match, which Baron Corbin serves no purpose right now, especially if Rhino is going after Finn Balor. Uh, we need a direction for this guy. We need him to do something because even the announcers are wondering what he's going to do now because, like, I think they want to keep him a face. The fans hate him. It's a very weird dichotomy. But I think the NXT MVP for tonight has got to be Kevin Owens. Samoa Joe's match was great. Yeah, I believe he was wrestling Scott Dawson. I might be mistaken on that, but it was a good match. Joe looked very motivated. He looked in good shape. But Kevin Owens' commentary was just so good. I mean, it opens up. He's got his arm around Byron Saxton. He's smiling. Byron Saxton looks scared as hell. And the promo afterwards, where it was Kevin Owens can do no wrong right now. He really can't. And William Regal booking Kevin Owens versus Samoa Joe next week. Don't know how the hell that's going to go, but I'm sure it's going to be a blast, and we're going to enjoy whatever the hell they come up with. I also got to give big shout out to the Hype Bros, Zack Ryder, Mojo Rawley. I know everybody else on the site hates this idea. I think it's going to work, and I think it's going to work really well. They already have a tag finish, guys. The Hype Bro Express is coming. I suggest you get on it. Final thing about NXT, dead in the eyes, Emma. So good. She had a match with Blue Pants, was mocking Blue Pants the entire time, and Emma's new way of putting on the dilemma with the repeated like thrusting and pulling and wrenching on the hold, fantastic. I know she did against Bayley a couple weeks ago, but she's continuing to do it against Blue Pants, and it was awesome. Now for my favorite show of the week, and this was really close, you guys. Lucha Underground. Now, I know you guys are not that shocked by this because we usually always say Lucha Underground, but NXT was very close this week. Lucha Underground. I said this on the live tweet. By the way, if you want to follow my live tweet exploits and get more into my brain, look on the Mayhem Show, search the hashtag MM, that's Mad Mike, and you can follow my entire exploits for this whole night of wrestling. But Lucha Underground is maybe one of the only wrestling shows I've ever seen where costume changes mean something. I know we kind of said this as an offhanded comment, maybe even a joke, but Bobby was saying that he was happy Mil Muertes got black pants. And it's very important that Mil Muertes got black pants because it means he came back stronger, serious, and more focused. This week, we had another return. Drago. And he came in like fucking Lucha Batman. Like, it was realistic. It was crazy. I don't know if he was supposed to be Batman. I don't know if he was supposed to be Toothless from How to Train Your Dragon. I don't know if he was supposed to be fucking Drogon from Game of Thrones. If he's a combination of all three, that's even better. But he came in, and the continuity of Dario Cueto saying, "What are you doing here? I have to get security to escort you out." Drago found a loophole to come back into Lucha Underground because Dario said anyone who challenged Puma can be in the number one contenders match. And that includes Drago. And oh man, what a number one contenders match. It was fantastic storytelling because you had Drago versus King Cuerno, who was their first feud against each other. You had a budding feud of Killshot and King Cuerno, which, if done right, can be the Bullseye versus Hawkeye of Lucha Underground, which would be amazing. You had Cage and Cuerno working together because they were on a trios team. And they were not hesitant to go after each other, but they waited until Hernandez and Drago were down to go after each other, which is fantastic storytelling. And then you had Hernandez, still needs to work on his selling a little bit, but still had a great role in the match, especially since he was the one that cost Drago to be banished. Just great all-around work. I'm excited that Drago won. He had a great stare down with Prince Puma at the end. And, Ultima Lucha. It's going to be in the beginning of August. So excited. Upset Lucha Underground's ending for the first season, but excited to see the payoff. But speaking of Prince Puma, next week, Dario Cueto announced that Lucha Underground will have one match. Prince Puma versus Johnny Mundo. All night long, all night. He didn't say it like that. That's me being a jerk ass. But an hour-long Iron Man match with Puma and Mundo for the Lucha Underground Championship. That's going to be amazing in and of itself. Let's see, what else happened on Lucha? We had the Lucha Court of Owls, the Disciples of Death, as they called themselves. They had a trios match against Masquerita Sagrada, Pimpinella, and I can't think of the name, but he was a white tiger luchador, and it was a fun match. I liked that the Disciples of Death were not overly dominant like the Crew was when they started, or like Big Rick and his boys were when they started. It was a back and forth pace match, even with Masquerita and Pimpy in there. Very well done. It was nice to see it, and it was good to see that once Katrina gave the lick of death, that was like when the Disciples just, switched on. That was when they took over. Also, the last thing on Lucha, two more things on Lucha, actually. They had another Blue Demon versus Chavo match. I love that they're doing the Lucha Origin storyline with these two guys. Blue Demon and Chavo was the first match on Lucha Underground, and now they're continuing it, and Chavo is accompanied by the Crew, which is good. By the way, Striker, Vampiro, you guys should really question why Bale wasn't out there with the Crew. I'm just saying it's something the authorities might want to look into. Anyway, last thing on Lucha, and as is always the case with Lucha Underground, stay through the credits, folks. Katrina teleported into Dario's office again and choked him out with Matanza's key, asking why Dario was against Mil Muertes. And they teased that we may get Mil Muertes versus Matanza. And if that doesn't blow your mind, you haven't been watching Lucha Underground. And if you haven't been watching Lucha Underground, shut this fucking thing off right now and go watch some goddamn Lucha Underground. Go tweet Bobby F. J-Town. He'll tell you where to watch the whole thing. He did it all this weekend. And you know what? It was the best weekend of his life so far. I guess. I don't know. I'm speaking for him. I shouldn't. But anyway, that's enough of me. I've been talking 20 some odd minutes or so. But all these shows were fantastic. MVP for Lucha. MVP for Lucha, Drago. Easily. The Dark Knight returns. He came out with fucking bat wings, for Christ's sake. Watch Lucha, watch NXT, watch ROH, watch Impact. If you like match quality, watch Impact, because the matches were very good. It's all the other stuff. But, so this has been Mad Mike. I am Mad Mike 4883 on the Twitters. For the rest of the guys' thoughts, they're going to be on here tomorrow night on the Midweek War. And they will do 4 separate shows about each of the shows, about each of the programs that was on tonight. They will talk about everything, good, bad, change, one word, MVP. They'll do everything. Not that MVP. Never that MVP. But yeah, and if you want to see more of me and more of the Wrestling Mayhem Show crew every Tuesday night at sorgatronmedia.com, round about 9 p.m. Before that, you got Boss Battle, you got your Awesome Cast, and after the Mayhem Show, you got the Indie Mayhem Show for all you independent wrestling fan nuts. All right, well, this has been Mad Mike. I've been watching 5 hours of wrestling, and I need to go to sleep, so have a good night, everybody. Mayhem out.